Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We are all George. Today, we have finally done it. Bitcoin has broken and shattered through $50,000, and it is even higher than $51,000. We have finally done it. We have hung on and held through crypto winter, and now Bitcoin is at a level it simply can't be ignored. And people don't know what to make of it. It is very, very, very exciting. So I got a lot to cover today, a lot of bullish news, including Blackrock semi-confirming that they have made a Bitcoin purchase, and it could be as high as $70 billion. Yes, BlackRock is the biggest asset manager in the world with over $7 trillion. So $70 billion to them is actually quite small, but $70 billion buy from BlackRock would make all the difference in the world. So today I got a lot to talk about. Also, let's talk about altcoins. Some people are wondering what's going on with altcoins. There are some news. Specifically, there's one big one I want to share with you guys. I think you guys noticed what it is, but it is having an effect. This one piece of news is having an effect on this other competitors' token, and I think that's going to be big for that competitor's token. So, as always, thank you for tuning in. I have 2 streams every day, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you tune in, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash up the like, and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. All right, let's do this. Let me turn my screen. All right, here we go. 51,300. I mean, yesterday at night, we broke 50,000, right? Couldn't hold, but I still had a good stream with you guys last night anyways, kind of recapping how we got here. And this morning, boom, we just went right past it and kept going. This is why sometimes, there are going to be dips, and sometimes there's going to be breather periods, and sometimes you guys are like, oh, what's going on? Well, if you're worried, just zoom out. Just keep zooming out until you realize we're just going up to the moon right now. There's really no breaks. There's really no downfalls. It's just continuously up right now, right? So that's how it's been for quite some time, right? And Bitcoin continues to go higher and higher and higher and higher. And I feel really bad for the whales that sold from F2 Pool. The whales or F2 Pool themselves trying to suppress Bitcoin's price. I think they knew this was coming. But I feel really bad for them because a lot of them lost out on tremendous gains just within the last few weeks, right? So I don't know what they were doing, but this is what we knew all along. That, you know what? No matter how much they dump, it's going to be collected. The big boys are coming in, and they're not letting go. And they're just saying thank you for cheap Bitcoins, and it just continues to go up and up and up and up. That is what we're seeing now, right? And if you look at the overall market cap, we're around 1.55 billion, trillion. And that's because Bitcoin is nearing 1 trillion itself. I mean, it's amazing. Bitcoin is reaching the 1 trillion market cap. Remember some of the old videos from Kevin O'Leary and others that have said, oh, you got to pay attention because it's at a billion market cap. Now we are literally 1,000 times higher than that. We are nearing 1 trillion market cap. And what does that mean? What does that mean exactly? Well, let's refresh this. That means Bitcoin is right behind Alphabet for the 5th largest company in the world. That is enormous. And we're only 50% away from silver. So once Bitcoin hits about 78,000, Bitcoin will be bigger than all silver in existence in the world, including paper, derivatives, and all that stuff. I mean, that's enormous feat, but that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. Gold is right around the corner, and we got a lot more ways to go with Bitcoin. Man, it's an exciting time. It's almost unfathomable at this point, right? That Bitcoin has shot up so fast, so much, right? And basically every single person out there, retail investors, public traded companies, hedge funds, and everyone is just FOMOing right now. Asset managers, pension funds, retirement funds, everyone is looking at Bitcoin. Soon, Satoshi's vision of, you know what, of Bitcoin replacing fiat, replacing the central banks and becoming the reserve currency of the world. It seems like that's so far-fetched now, but as Bitcoin gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it's no longer so far-fetched, right? So a lot of good stuff coming. All right, there is a lot of news. So let me get through them, and then let me show you this one clip from Blackrock, which they confirmed they bought, but it you know, we don't know the figure, but it is absolutely huge. I believe. All right. So first up is Microstrategy. People are debating what's going on with Microstrategy. Obviously, Michael Saylor is going. He's the biggest Bitcoin bull right now. Just buying Bitcoin like it's out of style. About to buy another $700 million worth of Bitcoin. And people are wondering, MicroStrategy is really just becoming a Bitcoin ETF because they have so much Bitcoin. You're basically buying them as if they were a fund company because they own so much, right? But the thing is, MicroStrategy never sells their Bitcoin. So it's a little bit different from a fund company. But there is one thing in here that I think is really interesting. And where's that point? Okay, here we go. Here, I don't know who's this guy. This is some guy. I know that sounds bad, some guy, but what he said is interesting. To quote, there are some in crypto who argue MicroStrategy's plans to keep offering convertible senior notes becoming a de facto Bitcoin ETF. While I don't disagree with that theory, my bet is that MicroStrategy's real target is to get Bitcoin's to get the Bitcoin market capitalization to $1 trillion. He added that could be the tipping point for crypto's acceptance as a solid asset class, as well as the beginning of the biggest parabolic movement the space has ever seen. The biggest parabolic movement the space has ever seen. I think that's right. I think he's entirely right. And Michael Saylor, the new Bitcoin Jesus, is leading the way. He's leading Bitcoin to $1 trillion, which is right around the corner. Bitcoin pumps up to 55,000, and we're there at 1 trillion. But I think he's going to lead us much farther than that. He's going to lead Bitcoin to six figures, 100,000, and that's when it is just, you know, it's just accepted worldwide. Everyone is going to be buying Bitcoin, and it's just going to carry over from there, right? So I think he is the Bitcoin Jesus and carrying Bitcoin right now up to the moon through his actions, not just through words. A lot of people over the years have said very good things about Bitcoin, but Michael Saylor is not just saying it, he's proving it. He keeps putting more and more down on Bitcoin, right? So I think that theory is true. I think that's true, and who knows? In another month, in another 2 months, another 6 months, MicroStrategy could do another convertible note, you know, money raising to buy another $1 billion, $2 billion, $5 billion worth of Bitcoin, right? Who knows? Who knows the thought process of Michael Saylor at this point? So there's that. All right. So as for traders, where do they think Bitcoin will go to next? Well, if you're looking at Fibonacci levels, then Bitcoin should be hitting 63,000 as its next stopping point, right? Now, Fibonacci levels, there's always a few, right? And sometimes they come true and sometimes they don't. The way Bitcoin is going now, I would not doubt that. I mean, it took us a little bit to break through 40s, right? I mean, we were in the 30s for a while, got to 40s, but couldn't hold. Then we went to 30s. So 40s took a while. Right now we're at 50s. So we'll see. The momentum just keeps going and accelerates due to Tesla's entrance and all these big boys entering, right? Or do we see like a sideways moving for a little bit? I don't know. Maybe the next stop is that 63,000, right? And then we kind of hover in this range between 63,000 and 50,000 for a little bit, just kind of like how Bitcoin did with 40 and 30,000. It could be something like that. But it's too early to tell right now, but you could definitely see this is just up and up and up and up and up right now, and things are looking pretty darn good. So 63,000 could be right around the corner. Now, something else that's bullish for Bitcoin and Coinbase is that Coinbase, you know how they're trying to go IPO? They're getting a $77 billion evaluation right now. So that's pretty big. And I would not be surprised that gets pushed up to 100 billion. I mean, Coinbase timed this as perfect as possible to do a IPO, right? Here's the thing. Coinbase, as big as they are, they still have horrible customer service issues. So hopefully that starts going away, that they actually have phone numbers that actually someone will pick up and help you with and stuff like that after they go public. But here's the thing. If Coinbase is worth, let's just say 77 billion or 100 billion, let's just round up to 100 billion. What does this mean? What does this mean? Well, if you think about it, Coinbase doesn't have a token. So this is the only way you can get exposure to Coinbase. But what about all the other exchanges out there? Like the biggest one out there, Binance, right? Binance right now, basically buying BNB is buying a share of Binance. So right now it's at 24 billion. And I did a video recently on them and I said how Binance could go up way higher. Look at today. I don't think it's a coincidence that they're up 17% today after this Coinbase announcement. Because if Coinbase is worth $100 billion, Binance is worth more than that. Binance is much bigger. They're global and they have their own chain and they have a whole lot more going right now on Binance than Coinbase, right? So I think indirectly this is helping Binance Coin a lot because now people are looking at, okay, if Coinbase is worth this much according to Wall Street, then this is how much Binance is. And the same thing could be the same thing with others like KuCoin, which is another well-known exchange, or even Voyager and all these guys, right? Everything is going to be evaluated against the Coinbase evaluation going forward. I believe. So we'll see. We'll see that. MicroStrategy Vehe says MicroStrategy updated a buy to 900 million from 690. Pretty soon they're gonna up that to like 5 billion. I mean, they're just gonna keep going up and up and up. So yeah, there's just so much demand right now. What else is there? Well, let's talk about gold. I know all of you guys love gold, so I'm just gonna bring it up. No, just kidding. But if you look at gold, the gold to Bitcoin ratio, this is not going to make Peter Schiff happy because the gold to Bitcoin ratio keeps tanking and tanking and tanking. Back in March of 2020, gold was doing relatively well at a 0.30 ratio. That has dropped tenfold to now 0.03, and it continues to decline. So if you're a gold bug and you're buying gold to hedge against inflation, well, it has not been working. And if you've been buying gold to hedge against Bitcoin, it really has not been working. And this pretty much tells you all you need to know. Ali, appreciate that. BitBoy has been saying good things about me, so I appreciate that. And he's a good guy, good channel. I met him a few years ago when his channel was just getting started, like 2 years ago, 2018, in Chicago Blockchain Conference. So I met him. Pretty good guy, pretty cool guy, so appreciate it. So look at this chart. 8 years. 8-year return on Bitcoin versus gold. If you held gold for 8 years, you would have made 13%. Had you held Bitcoin, you would have made 202,000%. 4 years ago, you would have made 64% with gold. With Bitcoin, 2,675%. Even 1 year ago, gold is up 24% versus 270% for Bitcoin. So if you're holding gold to hedge against inflation, I guess it works a little bit, very little. But if you're buying gold to hedge against Bitcoin, well, then you just lost out on millions and billions, just like Peter Schiff. And speaking of Peter Schiff, this is the latest one from yesterday. Now that Bitcoin has hit 50,000, I must admit that a move up to 100,000 can't be ruled out. Sounds like he's caving in. However, a move down to zero can't be ruled out either. While a temporary move up to 100,000 is possible, a permanent move down to zero is inevitable. If you don't want to gamble, buy gold. It sounded pretty good at the beginning. Then it turned real salty, and it just turned like he's a jealous person at this point. Honestly, at this point, it's very hard. And it's hard to imagine even getting down to 20,000, right? We were at 20,000 just a few months ago, and it seemed like we could not break out. But now, above 50,000, does anyone realistically think we can ever fall back to even 20,000 at this point? Or even 30,000 at this point? Like, to me, it just seems like the momentum, this gravy train, it took off, and you can't go backwards. You can't, put the cats, so to say, back into the bag, right? So, yeah. Anyways, enough about Salty Peter. What about the dollar versus gold? Well, no, dollar versus Bitcoin. Well, look at this, right? 10 years ago, you could have bought so many sats with one single dollar, right? But now, this is what you can buy with $1. From this to this, your dollar has inflated so much right in front of your eyes, you just don't realize it. But it is down 99.998% versus Bitcoin. Still, 99.99 9 years ago, 99.9 8 years ago. Even from 1 year ago, the dollar has inflated so much that it is down 80% versus Bitcoins. So if you look at things, a lot of people can't get their minds around this, but I'm starting to. It's hard to do. It doesn't matter what you look at. So you could look at something like, okay, a phone, right? Like a phone. Maybe when the iPhone came out, it was like $500. Now, an iPhone or a Samsung or whatever is $1,000 or $2,000. And you're looking at things. Real estate, cards, Bitcoin, stocks, whatever. It seems like over time, they're getting more and more and more expensive, right? And that's true because of inflation. But guess what? If you look at it this way, if you look at how many Bitcoins it took to buy before versus now, things are actually getting cheaper. So if you look at things that way, it blows your mind. It blows your mind how well Bitcoin is as a hedge against inflation and as an appreciative asset. It's really amazing. If you could change your mind and think about it, everything going forward gets cheaper and cheaper when you versus sats. Where on the dollar, if you versus dollar, it gets more and more expensive. So there you go. All right, what else is not good? Not good at holding against inflation. Well, especially not good versus Bitcoin is Hondas. Actually, in this case, it's a little bit different. We know it in the U.S. as Acura NSXs, but there's this guy that paid a whole lot in total, about 37 Bitcoins for 2 Acura NSXs. One time, he paid 30.5 when Bitcoin was down around 1,000. He bought a nice Acura NSX, and then later on, when Bitcoin was 4,300, he paid another, 6.5 Bitcoins. So now things are actually hitting him. He's doing the math and he realized that he lost out on $1.8 million worth of Bitcoin, and this is just going back to 2017. We're not even talking about 2012 or 2011. This is just going back to 2017. So now this guy is like, yeah, I just paid $1.8 million for 2 Hondas. So it hurts. It hurts. But I guess he's not the only one. I didn't know one of the Dogecoin's co-founders, said that he sold off all his entire Doge stash in 2015. And he used that to buy a Honda Civic. So people really love Hondas. Had he kept that, he would be a billionaire. Yeah. So if you just lost out on billions, you just probably just want to not think about it. What Rolls Rook? I have no idea what you're super chatting, but I appreciate a super chat though. 2 other things. Number 1. Dave Portnoy, he is feeling it too, just like that guy who bought Hondas. He got in Bitcoin in August when Bitcoin was around $11,000. So now it has gone up more than 4x. and he is very, very salty. And I'm not gonna play this because he swears in it, right? He's like, I'm never buying Bitcoin again because it's the one thing that never goes down and keeps going up and up and up. And this quote is really, really funny. Bitcoin starts moving, and I mean they do the Lambda La Bamba all over the internet. They're just doing a conga line. The Bitcoin people, they're saying we're all gonna get rich together. The parabolic guy, Anthony Papagliano, the Winklevosses. No one dances on graves like the Bitcoin people. That's true. Crypto people are harsh sometimes, but he got it right. He got it right. But he's also feeling it because he put in about $1 million into Bitcoin and Chainlink in August. He sold everything and lost $25,000. Had he kept just 5 months, he would be well over $5 million now. Not that he's hurting for money, but this shows, right? Just hold. Simply just hold. If you want to make money with Bitcoin, buy and hold. That's simply it. What else is there? Last thing, I just want to show this. Interesting article. I just got done talking about NFTs yesterday. NFTs are very, very hot right now. Everyone's getting involved. And within the last 30 days, $100 million worth of NFTs were sold. Kind of shows you how big NFTs are getting, right? So this is one aspect, a new aspect. People consider DeFi. I don't know if it's really DeFi. I don't think it's DeFi, but there's a financial aspect to it. But this is definitely something new that's coming, and it is getting absolutely huge, so you don't want to ignore it. Okay, lastly, let me show you this clip about Blackrock and Rick Ryder, who was asked about Bitcoin this morning. And Joe Kernan, he aggravates me recently because he keeps stumbling on. I have no idea what he's trying to say, and he keeps interrupting Rick. But pay attention to what they're saying. All right, let's do this.
Just trying to do the math. People think I can't do math. I'm pretty good at math, scientific notation, everything. So where's Larry comes in? He loves to brag. What's your how much you got under management now at BlackRock? What is it? 7, 8, something like that. It just keeps going up.
Yeah.
What is it? Because you manage it so well. What is it?
Yeah, no, it's. I watch what I have to do all day.
It's up
so
there.
I'm managing about two.
It doesn't matter.
It's up there.
See how Joe keeps interrupting. By the way, they have about 8 trillion of assets under management. That's what he was saying, 7 or 8 trillion of assets.
So, so Bitcoin bulls say 1%. Even just as a hedge against money printing, put 1% into Bitcoin. I'm trying to figure out what 1% of 7 trillion would mean. For Bitcoin, that would be. What are you doing? Are you doing anything? Are you recommending anything? What's BlackRock got in the works for Bitcoin? Or
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think crypto is generally has gotten the imagination of a lot of people. I mean, having, today the volatility of it is extraordinary. But listen, people are looking for storehouses of value. People are looking for places that could appreciate, under the assumption that inflation moves higher and the debts are building. So we've started to dabble a bit into it, and I wouldn't put a number on the percentage allocation one should have. It depends on what the rest of your portfolio looks like. But listen, I'm in I think you talked about one of your shows. My sense is the technology has evolved and the regulations have evolved to the point where a number of people find that it should be part of the portfolio, and so that's what's driving the price up.
Can you speak to BlackRock's eventual plans? What would you be recommending? I mean, you're not as old as Mellon. You got a lot more money, but that's one of the oldest banks around. They saw fit to make a comment. What do you think will happen down the road?
So, I mean, I'm not in a position to make recommendation on that. So, listen, I think some people holding it as a storehouse of value and diversifying your portfolio. Listen, the one thing I've owned, and I think somebody said on one of the show I was on with you guys recently, we're holding a lot more cash than we've held historically. It's because duration doesn't work, interest rates don't work as a hedge, and so diversifying into other assets makes some sense. And so, holding some portion of what you hold in cash and things like crypto is, seems to make some sense to me. But I wouldn't espouse a certain allocation or.
So he confirmed they dabbled in it, so they bought it, right? But what does dabble mean? When you have 7 trillion of assets, right? 1% of 7 trillion is $70 billion. Now he's trying to dance around. He's trying to not answer directly, but obviously they've gone in. They've gone in. He confirmed it. He just won't confirm how much. But when that figure comes out, I think it's going to really shock people, because $70 billion to them, 1% is like nothing. It's like you taking out a few bucks to go buy lunch with, right? That's what it is to them. That's how much money there is out there. So 70 billion purchase for Blackrock, I think that's really, really reasonable. And listen to what he said, right? There's nothing that's paying out interest right now. So they have a lot more cash than they usually do. So what are they going to do with that cash? Well, he said, we're going to diversify, like in crypto, like in Bitcoin, right? So obviously this will leak out later on, but one after another, after another, after another, right? The smartest, well, arguably the smartest people and hedge funds and whatever else there is in Wall Street, they're all diving into Bitcoin. This is why Bitcoin will continue to go up and up and up and up and up and up to the moon. All right. Over 3,000 people tuned in. Welcome, guys. Welcome. It's definitely exciting. Smash up the likes. Subscribe to the channel. If you guys are tuning in late, well, get ready, because it's the best part of the show, Q&A. Let's do this. Stop spamming, Patel. Stop spamming. They're doing just fine. A lot of people recently have asked me, is Ethereum being manipulated now? Well, I mean, it's at all-time highs. I don't know why anyone is worried about Ethereum at this point. So it's at above 1,800. It hasn't been moving as fast as Bitcoin as of late, but we know that. I mean, it always comes in spurts right now, right? So overall, if Bitcoin continues to go up, it's going to carry the market, and money's going to flow out like crazy. Now, I missed one super chat earlier. Someone talked about Cake, right? Pancake Swap. Pancake Swap is something I recommended maybe 2 weeks ago or something, because it was pretty obvious gas fees with DEXs and AMMs on Ethereum. They were congested. People wanted to look at alternatives. Binance Chain has a lot of good stuff. One of them, the biggest one, is Pancake Swap. So you look at Sushi, which is behind. You look at Sushi that's behind Uniswap, about 2 billion, and you look at Pancake Swap, they're catching up really, really fast. So they're up like 300% within like the last 2 weeks or something. So they're definitely climbing up really nicely. Another one that's on Binance Chain is Bakery Swap, which is pretty much the same thing, but they're gaining a lot of momentum because obviously gas fees right now is just horrendous on Ethereum. So yeah, there's one super chat about that. Can you look at wait, hold on. Could you look at Farm? I looked at this project before. Yeah, so they're a yield farming project. I hate the look of the website. This looks like it was designed in the 1990s. But yeah, they're a yield farming project. I don't know where they're on Uniswap. So, okay project, let's just say. But I don't know if they're built on Ethereum or Binance Chain or one of the other ones. If they're on Ethereum, then they're not going to do too well. I'll just say it that way. If you're looking for DeFi play, they have to be on another chain. Brian, yep. Thank you. I answered that. What else did I look at? Dennis, appreciate the super chat. Can you talk a little bit about pairs? Do you use USDT to hold? When you do use BTC or ETH, do you also use Crow and pairs? Doesn't really matter. I don't get, I guess, your question, whether or not you think trading in BTC or ETH or BNB matters. No, it doesn't matter. It's just a trading pair. Whatever you have. If you want to trade BTC or ETH, you can do so, right? USDT is a natural, Tether is a natural like stable coin if you want to take profits, right? If you want to take profits, you want to have money sitting on the sidelines, you could go into USDT or USDC or TUSD. I mean, there's a lot of stable coins out there, right? But in terms of trading pairs, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it makes no difference. Mitch asks, currently hold a bunch of Celsius, want to put into Voyager, but then I'll have to pay taxes. What do you think about Celsius token? Could also put into BNB. Celsius is fine. Alex is a good guy, smart guy. You know, they're like, you know, the next Aave. They're in the same space, but I think the only thing holding them back is they're not on Binance. That's it. So I think they have a good amount of collateral. You know, they shot up for the year. They have shot up quite a bit, you know, like thousands of percents. So they're doing relatively well. Ben asks, have you heard of Idle Finance? No, I have not. Is it this? Man, this is a huge explanation. So it's a DeFi staking. So it's a DeFi staking project? Or it's yield farming? I can't even tell. But they're too small. They're too small. And only on Uniswap, so I say they're too early at this point. Dennis, let's just say it's much smaller. Much less than $51,000. Let's just put it that way. Algorand is a fine project. A lot of people seem to like it. I'm still not very excited about it, but founded by MIT professor, seems to have a good loyal base. A lot of people like them. A promising blockchain network. I mean, that's about it. I mean, I think they're fine, but I don't really particularly like them or yeah, let's just say I'm neutral on them. I'm not excited about them. Future MDJB. I talked about Decentraland yesterday because I've been talking and focusing more on NFTs. And I think Decentraland is actually a pretty good one. Because they're not really NFTs, but they are. Because you're buying virtual items for your virtual world, and the virtual world, you could actually own a piece of it. So I think Decentraland, Mana, can actually be a pretty good play going forward. Seeing how hot virtual items is getting, right? So I think they could be a good hold. Where are they? And they're relatively small. Yeah, they're barely in the top 100. So they're still at 460 million. So they definitely have good amount of room to grow. And same thing with Engine. I've talked about Engine before. They're in NFTs too. So these two projects, both of them, are very, very good to hold. Nick asked, buy a little Doge just in case. Well, it can't hurt, but you know what's going on with Elon and him telling the large Doge holders to sell. I don't know how that's going to conclude. I don't know if they're going to listen, if they're going to sell, or they're not. I don't know, but I think Dogecoin is here to stay. I don't think it's going to drop back down to 1 cent. Let's see where they stabilize at. It seems like they're stabilizing around 5 cents. So if they could stabilize around here, wouldn't be a bad pickup, but I would say wait and see where they stabilize. So very easily it could go down below 5 cents. But I think Elon is serious about Dogecoin. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Theta is really good. I really like Theta. I really like BAT, Basic Attention Token. I'm using the Brave browser right now. But BAT tends to be very, very stagnant at times. So sometimes it's very frustrating, to be honest, to hold BAT. But recently it pumped up a little bit, so it's good. But we'll see if they can continue that momentum. The graph is also pretty good. Pretty good. They finally taken a breather recently. So they were above $2. Well, they're still above $2, but they did come down a little bit. Graph is also a pretty good project. Yeah. I like AMP a lot. I just covered AMP not too long ago with Flexa. I think they're going to disrupt the e-commerce. Let's just say they could disrupt the e-commerce space or merchant space with the Flexa app. And AMP could be used for basically any app out there. It doesn't have to be Flexa, but Flexa just happens to be, you know, have a lot of traction at this point. Adrian, thank you for that. Would you recommend buying stocks in crypto mining companies like Riot and Mara? They seem on fire. Yes. Well, not financial advice, but yes, they are on fire. I've always said this before, like if you want some indirect exposure to Bitcoin and crypto, yeah, look at the companies that's involved, because that's what the big boys are doing. Like Fidelity and others, they're buying companies like mining companies, stuff like that, to get indirect exposure with Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin keeps going up and miners keep making more money, why would they not go up, right? So it wouldn't be bad to look at them. It wouldn't be bad to look at them. All right, guys. That is it. Oh, man, Bitcoin is going higher, 51.4 almost. Bitcoin just is continuing higher. I mean, no one can stop talking about Bitcoin at this point, right? It's just nonstop up, up, up. CNBC, Market Watch, you know, Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance, nonstop talk about Bitcoin, as they should, because this is a pretty big deal. We're halfway, more than halfway to 6 digits for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is nearing 1 trillion market cap. And as Bitcoin climbs higher, guess what? You know, the whole market, the whole crypto market is blooming, blossoming, and you got to pay attention because there's some real gems out there. There's some real good gems that can make some tremendous moves and gains. And you know what? Yeah, it's going to be good overall. Overall, 2021 is going to be good. Year of the bull, year of the ox, and we're going to see a lot more good news come out day after day after day after day. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. If you want to talk to me and others in Discord chat, check out my Patreon group and get some exclusive content. Also, if you want a crash course on Bitcoin, check out my Teachable page. And if you want some tax help, then check out my sponsor, CryptoTrader.tax, who is giving a free report out every single week. So why not, right? Why not imply? Everything is in the description of this video. All right, until tonight, guys, 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m., one of those times tonight. So make sure you tune in. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.